Rob was kind enough to let me drive his Luber, his lifted uncut Bronco, Patche. We're up here in the Great Smoky Mountains on the Foothills Parkway overlooking Townsend, Tennessee and the whole valley. So I'm driving around Supercell in a 1970 Bronco owned by the man, the myth, the legend, Rob Matthews, who's crazy for letting me drive his truck. Patches. So where'd the name Patches come from?
Nope, this one is Patche.
Oh, this is...
See the little wing ding over the E?
Oh, yeah.
Patches was the last orange truck, the half cab. This is a little more sophisticated vehicle. Patches, my old truck was literally orange and black, like a pumpkin patch. And this one is still orange and black, but it's way nicer. Pretty much don't have any rust on this truck.
I don't know if you can see behind us, but basically we're driving amongst about 1,200 Ford Broncos at Supercell 2024. We coerced, cajoled, did whatever we had to do to let some people let us drive their Broncos. So this is honored and it's fun. I was expecting a 3-speed, but you, what's the transmission in here?
AX15.
So I'm driving a 5-speed and this thing shifts so nice.
I'm glad you haven't put it in first gear yet because it'll snap our neck off.
I only use first gear to get going.
Yeah. First gear is just too whiplash.
Yeah.
The pretty torquey motor, so you blip the throttle and it's like bang, bang. Throws you around a little bit.
We all, in case I didn't introduce, we have Porter with us also.
Yeah, my bird dog, my Bronco dog. This is his 7th Supercell.
You got more Supercells than I do.
Yep, I blame you.
That's right. That's 49 Supercells in dog years.
Yeah, that's about right.
So is this a traditional orange Bronco color?
It's supposed to be burnt orange, which is, yes.
Oh, okay.
The last truck was bang on. It looked correct. You know, this is way brighter.
If you love Broncos,
yep,
there is no better place to be than Supercell, which people get here as early as Tuesday, and today's
we were here last week Thursday.
You spent your whole PTO here, huh?
Well, it helps being a business owner.
How far did you drive from Florida?
So we're just west of Gainesville, a little hole-in-the-wall town called Williston. We grow peanuts and watermelons.
Oh, really? Is that what Jimmy Carter did?
Oh, I don't know. Jimmy Carter, he was a president or something, right?
Yeah, I think so.
now you're showing your age.
That's right. We don't talk about that. So, you have a sway bar in this?
Yes, actually.
Oh, man.
I put a sway bar on this truck 2 weeks ago, or 3 weeks ago now. So this is the same suspension setup that Patches had. So it's a 3.5-inch suspension and a 1-inch body. I'll let you know if you hit him.
Yeah.
So he put sway bar, John did, on his truck, and I actually called him on the phone and I said, is it really like that drastic? And he's like, you would not believe it. So I think it was the next day I ordered one from Tom's.
Well, so you can do the front and the rear, but
yeah,
just the front alone.
Yeah, I just did the front. Yep.
Yeah.
And it just made the whole front stiffer. So I've got long arms on this from James Duff, which I put on the last truck too, which makes it super nice riding. The difference between this truck and the last truck I ran a 35 12.5-inch tire on a 10-inch rim, and it was wide, you know, cut quarters and everything. This isn't cut. So I have a stock steel rim on this with little skinny 9.5-inch Super Swampers. It's identical suspension, but the difference in ride is staggering. And by ride, I mean body sway. It was enough on this truck that I wasn't real comfortable letting my wife drive it. A little too much, made me a little too uncomfortable. I mean, that install was, I don't know, an hour and a half or something to put the sway bar on the thing. Anybody can drive this now. Clearly, because you're behind the wheel.
Yeah, even I can drive it. Would you say, on a scale of 1 to 5, how hard was the lift sway bar to install?
Like a 1.
A 1, wow.
Yeah.
And do you need a lift to do it or no?
No. I mean, I cheated. I used my cherry picker and tied up the bumper and picked the whole front of the truck up. Do you need one? No. Would it have taken a little longer if I didn't have one? Yeah, probably. But by mechanical things, it's about as simple as you can get, putting a sway bar on.
Wow, this runs great too. What engine do you have in here?
This engine came out of a 97 Explorer, so it's a 5.0, the GT40 plus P head. I took it to an old school cool engine shop, and he went through the whole thing top to bottom, and it's snappier than I really want in one of these old trucks, but once you spend the money, you can't really detune it.
We're following John. Look at him fly around that corner.
Yeah, well, that's his truck. He drives that thing all the time.
Even backwards.
Yeah, into trees.
In the trees. He's got his new tailgate on, though, if you didn't notice.
Yeah, I looked at the frame horns on the back of that. I see he hasn't quite gotten around to everything.
Is this your main truck, or are you building another one?
I got 3 more. No, I got 2 more. I've got a 67 that I tore apart probably 5 years ago. You know, spot weld. You know, when I say tear apart, I mean removing body panels. The rear quarters are off of it. The rockers are off of it. No fenders, no grill. I tore down. The hard part's done, and it's sitting in the corner. That's a 67. And I've got my wife's 69, which now has a new, fresh rolling chassis with the Blueprint 302 AOD transmission. And you know that because you saw my Instagram I posted where I did the frame.
Yep.
You know, wire wheeled and then all 415. Hopefully we get home and I'll take the body off of the body cart, put it on the frame. I'm going to try to keep the stock T-shift, so I have to take the hole in the transmission tunnel and move it back an inch or so. That's on the docket.
So you've done all these drives at Supercell. What road are we climbing up to?
I think we're going to get on the parkway up here.
And that, you can see it from the Supercell show field.
Yeah.
It's like goes across the top of the mountain ridge, right?
Yep. You can just barely see a glimmer of a white line up there that's the road. Not too bad for bias ply tires, huh?
No, actually, and they're pretty tall too. How tall did you say they were?
They're 34 inches tall and 9.5 inches wide.
So I really love a louver, a lifted uncut Bronco. You lose some wheel options with that, but I really think the Steelies where the tires are tucked is just so, I mean, it's the classic look.
Old school, man. Yeah.
So we're building one right now that's all Wimbledon white.
That's what this truck was to start. It was white on white on white.
And we're trying to figure out, wow, here's a hairpin.
It was so white it'd make you sick. This original truck came from Tampa. It was sold in Tampa, which is an hour and a half south of me. It was in pretty damn good shape, rust-wise.
I feel a lot of torque. Do you have a different cam in this?
Oh, yeah.
Like it's not loaded down at all.
Nope. It's got plenty of power. When I left the show field yesterday, I had one of my Bronco mugs, and I had a half a can of ginger ale, and I'm like, well, we're tearing up everything and getting ready to go back to the house. I poured my half a can of ginger ale in the Bronco cup, and I said, well, the safest place I can put it is on the floor pan. So I just set it on the floor pan. You know, everybody's leaving the field, and I'm, all right, I pulled out first gear and got in the center lane here in Townsend, right? Nobody's coming, so I'm like, well, I'll get on the gas a little bit when we're leaving. Well, I got on the gas, and when I went to shift, my cup went up underneath the clutch pedal, I couldn't smash the clutch down. I went to put it in second gear. Anybody that saw me driving must have thought that has to be either he broke something or that's the first time behind a 5-speed, because it was just and I finally kicked it out of the way and stepped on it, jammed it in gear, and took off again. Amanda's like, wow, I hope nobody was watching. Well, that's just part of driving the truck.
Yeah, it was funny on these trucks, like everything on the floor goes under the pedal.
I was just thinking initially, well, it won't fall off and spill. And it didn't spill, it just slid around.
Wow, this truck's a pleasure to drive. So what tires are these? I can hear them now.
Yeah, they hum a little bit. They are Super Swamper LTBs. You know what you don't hear? Any roof noise at all.
Yeah, now that you mention it, I don't hear any noise. How'd you do that?
It's fiberglass.
Oh, whose top is this then?
Bronco Design.
Oh, all right, which one of Corey's tops.
Yep.
So is this the one, it's 2 layers of fiberglass, right?
Yep.
And I think you can get insulation in there too.
It's insulated, and this one's insulated on the sides as well.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
Actually, it's super quiet. So is that probably one of your favorite modifications you made to the truck?
I don't know about that. It depends. I mean, I used to have like a top 1 or 2 or 3 like in order, but anymore it just depends on what truck you're building, what you want to do with it, what you want it to look like. I mean, long arms on a truck that's not, the long arms make such a huge difference in how they ride. Having that extra 10 or 12 inches, whatever it is, of movement, it makes such a difference. I mean, it's staggering. So I'd still, even though I put a sway bar on this truck because it's narrow, right, narrow wheels and tires.
Yeah.
That's still probably my first best thing is the long arms. And then second to that, by drivability, I guess, would be, you know, this is the 3rd Holley Sniper system I put on. This is the first one where I've done the whole thing. So it's a CD box, it's the coil, it's a distributor, and it's a throttle body. And all 4 of those are just a standalone, run everything.
So right? Did you do the kit?
Yeah.
So you got the distributor also?
Yeah.
Where do you, oh, here's your controller right down here?
Yeah.
That's kind of nice because it'll flash yellow at you, right? Like if you're getting warm or...
Yep, it tells you if anything's going bad, which
Yeah.
it doesn't. I mean, what? But it is 198 degrees. That's what this truck just runs at 198 degrees. If it's idling, it's 199 degrees. I think it hit 203 one time, and I was pretty sure I was still burping the radiator.
What'd you do for a fan?
It's all Explorer front dress,
Oh,
so it's
okay.
got the mechanical Explorer fan. This has a 4-core radiator. Oh, it's a Ron Davis 4-core radiator on this truck. And that pop you just heard?
Yeah.
That's the locker in the back.
Okay,
That's
I
the
didn't
lunch-
break anything.
No, that's the lunchbox locker.
All right.
I got one in the back, one in the front. I can't remember if it is a Aussie locker or if it's the other one. But this one makes a lot more noise than my old truck. My old truck is pretty quiet. This one pops and clanks a little bit.
It's actually really quiet too. What are you running for exhaust?
I hate this exhaust.
Is it too quiet for you?
No, it's too damn loud.
It's still too loud? It's
Yeah.
pretty quiet compared to some of the stuff I drive.
If memory serves, I got this exhaust from the Bronco hut before they shut down, or whatever happened to the Bronco hut. And it was supposed to be a kind of all-in-one system, you know, just bolt-on.
Yeah.
I find that's a bunch of garbage. That's never true. It fit close, but it wasn't perfect. I did what I do and cut it to pieces and made it fit. And then the crossover pipe was where the real problem was. I took it to a welder and had him actually TIG it all back together. So now it fits fine. The next truck I build, I will not be doing exhaust. I'll take it to a shop, professional, and let them do it.
So did you do the crossover pipe? Because that has something to do with the 5 liters needing a crossover to keep...
The driver's side header, they're both shorty ceramic coated headers, right?
Yeah.
It goes down, like literally right where the bell housing is, and then dumps into a Y basically under my feet, and then it goes out the back. And that whole thing was just not as good as I wanted it to be.
Well, I heard some of the modern 302s, one bank will run, one side will run hotter than the other, and they do a crossover for that reason, but I think crossovers just equalize pressure and everything works better anyway.
Yeah, I didn't know that. I don't like dual exhaust. I just like one pipe sticking out the side and you're done.
Yeah.
That's just my preference. I see a ton of dual exhaust out there, which is great, you know.
Well, I don't know why exhaust would be different than any other part they make for Broncos. They make the parts, and you make them fit.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
That's
it doesn't
literally...
matter if you're buying a fender or a, you know, anything. Yeah.
The part was this much, and it cost this much to make it fit.
Yep.
Unless you do it yourself, it's just time. So,
my wife's dad, he's old school Chevy muscle, and he cannot understand that when I'm working on any of these things. And I got to go get my duckbill pliers and, you know, pull out the Dremel tool to make a relief cut or whatever. He's like, well, I just don't understand that, Rob. Well, how come it just doesn't fit? And I'm like, nothing fits like that, Dad. Well, it's supposed to just fit.
We have a Bronco community. We have low standards. Like, it's a DIY community for sure.
Pretty much.
Like I'd say of the 900 early Broncos that are at the show, 800 of them can fix anything.
Pretty much. Yeah, or close. There's some other ignorant people out there too that think that somebody that doesn't wrench on their own truck isn't a Bronco guy, which I have a hard problem with that, you know. The guy that's a lawyer and attorney that grew up, you know, riding the back of his granddad's Bronco, he loves them as much as you do, but he doesn't have the time to wrench on them like you do. So is he lesser of a Bronco guy than you are? No. But he's got the funds and the finances where he can pay somebody to work on his stuff. I don't have a problem with that at all. And Amanda's 69, we're putting air conditioning in. This is pretty comfortable driving around up here in the mountains, right?
Oh yeah, actually
But
it's really nice.
In Florida, you better be driving before 9 a.m. or after 7:30.
Oh, John's putting air conditioning in the Bronco he's building.
Yeah, I heard that.
And I helped him do this custom dash.
Yep.
And we moved the glove box over.
Yeah, they're cut-in inserts and everything, so it'll be like full modern.
Yeah. So all of the vents are in the stock dash.
That's awesome.
So they're not hanging below, and it's turning out really cool. He did a Vintage air conditioning system. What brand are you doing?
Vintage Air.
Vintage Air?
I bought all that stuff from Nick at Classic Ford Parts up in PA.
Another cool thing about coming to this event is you get to meet all these people from all over the United States.
Yeah. I told the guys at Tom's yesterday, we went in there, I said, man, I don't think probably a bunch of people tell you, but we sure appreciate you spending the time, money, and effort to come out here to support this show. You know, it's a big deal.
Look, we're climbing this. It's pretty steep in fourth gear, and your truck's not even struggling. It's just happy. Would you downshift now?
No.
There's not a lot of difference between third and fourth gear.
Yeah.
But you said first gear to second gear is a huge difference?
Yeah.
All right, here's one of our pull-offs. Nothing like the turning radius of a Bronco.
Yeah. Mine's funny because mine turns better to the left than it does to the right.
I'm turning to the left, so I wouldn't know. Wow, look at that view. This thing's a dream to drive. This is how Broncos are supposed to drive.